The regulators, they have to keep up with all the new products coming out. Their challenge is keeping up, which is also why we see this big lag. So you will see a big move happening on the trading sphere before it actually really moves into the regulatory side, and you see the regulatory change coming out. Now, that does not mean that the financial institution should not prepare.
Welcome to Brokeree Add-On interview series. In this series, we sit down with clients, partners, and experts to explore how the industry is evolving and what that means for brokers, tech providers, and any stakeholders alike. Whether you are new to the industry or have been around for a while, there is something here for you. Hello, my name is Paulina. Welcome back to our add-on interview series. We have Emil Kongelys today with us from Muinmos. Hello, Emil.
Hi, good to be here.
Great to have you here. It's our third episode right now, which we are very, very proud of. If I can ask you very quickly introduce yourself, tell us a bit more about your expertise.
So my name is Emil Kongelys. I am the CTO at Muinmos, where I drive our technical department. My history is I'm engineering background. I started my first company out of engineering college, EP.03, where we did algorithmic trading on the Nasdaq, primarily Nasdaq and NYSE. And actually that was where I first time got introduced to prop trading, because that was one of the ways we got access to some of the markets we needed access to. Then I went from Trader to CFH, which later became Finalto, where I headed the integration department and was part of the management team there. And once we had finally done the full migration into Finalto, it was time for me to join Muinmos and hit the technical department here. So that's short on me, but a lot on the technical side. And now I've been on the regulatory side for the last 4 years.
I heard that the prop was very, very early on your prop technology. Very early on in your experience, which is amazing because I will love to touch this topic today. So now when we have a bit of a background, let's jump into what's happening in the industry right now. I wanted to firstly ask you what's new in the regulation landscape. What are your observations right now?
So I think it's an observation everybody can do, I guess. It's the regulation is tightening in. So everywhere there's more and more regulation coming out. We see it in more and more areas. If we go back 20 years, you could practically do whatever you wanted, trade whatever product you wanted with whoever you wanted at any point in time. But today we have seen regulations come in on many fronts. We've seen coming in on how much leverage you can offer. We've seen it come in on reporting capital accuracy, and we've seen it on trade reporting. We've seen it on, of course, the KYC, AML part and all those. So the regulatory side of it is coming in. It is about client protection, and it is always moving forward. That's all I want to say. So
yes, also like from my perspective, comparing how it was years ago, it's not so slow moving space anymore, right? It's like speed of changes. It also means for the brokers that they can't just like wait and see what is going to happen. They cannot risk.
I don't think their search goes faster. I think maybe you just see more coming out because they've been working on it for a long time. So that's how you see it coming out. But the speed of things seems to be more or less the same. If we have a good example, if we look at, for example, at copy trading, it actually took decades before we really saw any real legislation coming in around 2018 with MiFID II. But before that, copy trading happened for decades, and lots of brokers offered it. So we do have that long time, and I think the same we will see with the prop trading, to be honest.
Yes, but it was not this structured in the past as we see it now. So I wanted to ask you about the new trends or perhaps even challenges that you see showing up in the regulation landscape.
Challenges from the broker side or challenges for the regulator side?
From the regulating side, yes.
So I think that the regulators, they have to keep up with all the new products coming out. They need to keep up with the new trading services, and they are not domain experts. They do not come from that. So they are always, their challenge is keeping up, which is also why we see this big lag. So you will see a big move happening on the trading sphere before it actually really moves into the regulatory side, and you see the regulatory change coming out. Now, that does not mean that the financial institution should not prepare, because we can actually just look at what has happened so far in history, and then we can use that lag time to prepare ourselves to the future. So we can more or less predict what will come in of rules going forward.
And what are your predictions?
So I think
more or less.
One we are pretty sure at Muinmos is that prop trading will be seen as dealing on own account. So that means that brokers will need a license for dealing on own account. I do believe that we will see regulations surrounding transparency. So you would need to see what is being traded as a prop trader and what's not. That goes into trade reporting and all that kind of world. We will also maybe, I don't know, see, this is just me guessing, I don't know, but it could be we will see that the regulators target the individual prop trader more directly than the company, which is of course the big benefit for prop traders, right? When you set up a prop trading account, it gives you access to actually trading markets or products that you were not able to otherwise, which is a huge benefit.
And do you think that right now, today, the regulatory matters, they are still surrounded with any fear, uncertainty, like within the industry?
I definitely think it's there, the fear and uncertainty, but I don't think it probably should be there, because again, we can just look at what has happened to other products when they come out and then say you will most likely see something of the same coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Again, with copy trading that got regulated in 2018 with MiFID 2, I don't know, maybe we'll see a MiFID 3 with coming out with prop trading in it, having prop trading as its own kind of thing, starting looking at this whole thing about trading for prices might become a real financial product. So in that way, it gets enrolled in regulatory services. So yeah, I think that will be a lot of those things we've already seen happening, right? So again, with copy trading, the whole view of what is actually the broker's responsibility in copy trading, the same will happen to prop traders. What is actually the broker's role and who's the client trading it?
Okay, I think it's a time to jump in the topic that everybody is speaking about and everybody has some kind of fear around it. A very hot topic, which is of course prop trading, and it's still raising a lot of questions. Not prop trading itself, but the regulations and compliance around this topic. Many brokers and many prop trading firms, they have still a lot of doubts, a lot of concerns, right, in this area. So I think it will be pity not to discuss this very tricky topic with like the best person that we can discuss. So if you can share your thoughts, like general thoughts on this topic.
Prop trading is an amazing tool. As I started my conversation, I did prop trading many years ago, and what it offered us in our company at that point in time was, as today, a higher leverage. We had access to at that point it was called an ECN rebate, so we got access to that through this prop trading company because they were registered with the ECNs themselves. We got access to getting around a lot of short selling rules, a lot of day trading rules that were imposed on the US market. In the same way, in OTC, we could, for example, say, you might want to trade a product that's illegal in your country, but as a professional trader, you want to trade it. So you could create an account under a prop trading setup and that way get access to trading the market. So it is actually a really powerful offering. And I think it would be a pity for brokers not to do it, given that they also put in the effort to put in the technical controls using systems like Brokeree and Muinmos to control the onboarding, the risk side of it, and ensure that the trading can happen without going wild, to put it blank.
Yes.
So if you start preparing already now, there's absolutely nothing that should stop you from taking that step. So if you as a financial institution feel this is what I want to do, then there's again, looking at history, at least about 5 to 10 years before the regulation will really come out. But if you already now prepare yourself with the right tools, you will be set for it.
Yeah. The main fear that at least we, when we are talking to our clients, our partners, the fear is that prop trading right now has grown so fast that it has a feeling that it outpaced the speed of regulations, and nobody really knows. Nobody really knows exactly what this grain zone looks like in practice every day. And a lot of companies, they want to innovate. They want to not even bring prop to the offering, but also like innovate it, change it, grow it. Not everybody is sure. Nobody really sure the legal boundaries around it, right? So I wanted to ask you the current status for regulations for prop firms.
But currently it is kind of a gray zone, you could say. There is no, the regulation is of course there. The company is regulated. So whatever broker, if you are set up in UK or somewhere else, you will have some sort of license under a regulator who would be trading on. And from that, you are regulated. Your traders, on the other hand, that's where it becomes a little more gray, because they are now part of your company and start trading on the company's accounts. That is, of course, a place where there's not a lot of regulation, but it's also what makes it possible to start offering out some of these great services, giving access to markets, for example. The regulation will come. You will see more regulation. I don't think they will go in and prohibit it directly. I think it's a valid market. I think it has a valid being. It's not there to fraud. It's not there to be any kind of fraudulent. So that way, yes, regulation will come. And again, as I said, at Muinmos, we truly believe that it will come in. It will be as a dealing on own account, a free kind of thing. It will be you will be required to do trade reporting on the trade you're doing. You will be required to ensure that you have the capital accuracy. You will be required to make sure the leverage doesn't go way out.
Okay. So do you see any other progress that have been made from the regulatory side regarding prop? Any other progress that has been made lately with regulations?
So not really that's been made directly right now. So right now it's talks, right? So everybody's talking about what is that's going to happen and how it's going to happen. And in the US, you have seen a few things coming in, right? If you go back some time ago, they prohibited the banks from doing it, but it's not really for us. We're on the broker side here. So you have seen steps coming in, but you just haven't. There's no direct regulations here now that you can say it. But there's I do believe we will see on the areas that we discussed so far: leverage, transparency with the trade reporting, the services you're offering as a financial institution.
If you could go more in depth, I wanted to ask for our views, of course, about a bit more technical side of when you are preparing yourself as a broker to add the prop offering or as a prop firm, what kind of reporting or let's say like record keeping is required right now for prop trading under current regulatory frameworks? What I want to know is how the prop firms can organize themselves correctly before starting.
I would say that they need to be technically advanced, but all brokers has that today. So that's not true. But you have to be sure you have technical tools that can help you. This is not something you will be sitting doing manually. We all know trading can be everything from a few trades per second to thousands of trades per second. 1 second takes another. So that's just how it is. So you need the proper tools in place to make sure you capture all aspects of the trades. I would say that the biggest things for prop trading companies is where I would really make sure I'm ready is on the risk side. Again, hooking up with tools like Brokeree and Muinmos to make sure that your risk is covered on the client onboarding side and your risk is covered on the trading side. Because these prop traders, they are trading on your account as a brokerage. Meaning you would need to be able to do proper stop out or margin calls, or you would need to make sure that they can't trade off your books. If that were to happen, it could potentially hurt other of your clients.
Yes. So a solid structure, you say, and being advanced in a tech space, right? So while talking about being advanced in a tech space, what role do you think tech providers play when, let's say, addressing prop trading and the potential gray areas that it has?
Oh, but they should cover it all. So I think today probably the main focus has been on the should we say the gaming part of it, right? Where you get the prices and you can move to the next level. That's where there's been a lot of progress. The next step will definitely be that we will see, or I believe that we will see these tech companies provide the tools for the brokers so they can ensure that the traders they let through is actually trading well enough. So you have plenty of tools today you can use where you're looking at, of course, the P&L of a client. You may be looking at trade decay. You may be looking at I don't know, the trade patterns to see if this is someone you want trading on your account. And that kind of tooling is going to be the most important part for any prop trading firm to ensure that any client they take up to that notch where they go trading with the market is safe and know that, okay, this guy knows what they're doing.
From my perspective, I've seen cases when a choice of platform or like a solution, tech solution, ended up creating more regulatory risk than the trading itself. And, it shows how important it is to choose a right tools and the right provider at first, right?
100%. A bad tool could be even worse than anything else. It could close you down overnight if you get the wrong tool. That's for sure. So make sure you get proper tooling that's well-founded in the market. You have a lot of people trusting it. They will definitely be the ones to go with.
Yeah. And how do you think the tech providers, how can they contribute to handling any potential, let's say, compliance risk?
I would start looking at what's happened so far in other products. We have of course, as a blockchain, but there's also crypto coming in, where we have seen MiCA and other regulations coming in. So we can actually just look at what has come in of regulations so far, and then more or less apply to prop trading. Some parts will not be applicable, of course, because we are talking about dealing on a company's account rather than dealing as an individual investor. So it is something different. But a lot of the parts we can actually take, and we can already now predict, as I said, many of these, and start using that to prepare ourselves to the next step. And it's not that the preparation might get you 90%, but then once the regulation comes in, and now this is fully the regulation, then the last 10% is going to be easy for any brokerage to.
Okay. So maybe it's a good idea to have this full transparency right now, just to be prepared when it starts, because I think many companies might have an issue when it comes, when the regulations comes in this sphere, and then they have to start doing all those changes. And I think the brokers and the prop firms who will be already doing it, they will be ready just to go, and there will be no changes for them, right?
Well, other than the license, they will need to make sure they have that license that allow them to do A3. But the clarity, I completely agree. The transparency, they should already now say it. And for me, it's just different products. You have our normal trading account, and you have your prop trading account, and you select as a user where is it you want, what's best fitting for me. Do I need access to these highly advanced markets or highly advanced tools, or do I want the investor protection on the individual side? And then it's up to the user of the platform. If I were to open a new trading account, I'll just see it as a benefit that I can see that broker has both, because then I can always evolve from one to another.
Okay. I understand. So the prop trading, of course, we all know that it's based on trading the firm's capital, right? Not the trader's capital. So how do we comply with AML, KYC? KYC is tricky. I hear a lot of questions about it from the companies that are thinking of starting with prop.
I would say you have to do KYC ML on all. Anyway, it's you have to know who you're dealing with. You have to be sure that whatever money you're getting, whether it's a deposit or it's paying for having a trading account set up, you have to know where the money comes from when you're in a financial institution. There's no way you can just take it and look the other way. So you do need a proper solution like Muinmos for example, to make sure you get a client in, you get the KYC at AML, you check everything that's needed, so you know who you're dealing.
Okay, so skipping this subject is not really an option, right? Let's say that having this approach that it's just our money, right? It's not a trader's money. It's not an excuse to ignore KYC, right?
I would not say it's an excuse to ignore it, because you still get money from the trader. You still get in some way either by a deposit or they're buying a monthly fee or somewhere else where you're getting money from the trader. Yeah. So you are getting money from the trader, and you should know where they come from.
I understand. So how should we structure our risk management, the policies to pass the audits for prop activity?
Again, I think when we go into it and look at it, you will have to make sure that you have the capital experience there. So if you just leverage your clients or your prop traders by infinite amounts, you will have problems. So you do need to make sure you're running a proper risk setup. And what the rules is going to be on that, I don't know, but it will be there. You will definitely get some rules on that level, because for me, that's the most important part, right? It's if one trader can make the whole platform go down for everybody, that's a bad situation, right? So you need to have proper risk management in there, and that's both on your day-to-day margin trading side of it, but it's definitely also to look at the overall portfolio of clients you have.
So would you say that it boils down to like clear documentation with all the details? Or would you say that the risk management should also contain some other points?
Of course, you need clear documentation. That's for sure. You need clear documentation. This is what happens when a prop trader comes in. This is how they can deal. This is how the process is when they're depositing money. This is the process when they're withdrawing money, and so forth, all that. But you also definitely need the technical tools there to make sure that whatever was agreed when you signed the client on is also what's actually happening. Because you never know, trading evolves all the time. And it could be that the prop trader finds a new trading strategy tomorrow that all of a sudden uses the full leverage rather than just 10% of it.
Mm-hmm. In the financial market space, it was talked a lot about the possibility of revoking the licenses from platforms providers, right? So how do you think, in your opinion, the brokers or slash the prop firms, they can handle this subject or like prepare for the unexpected risks that can end up with the license revoke from a platform provider?
Well, the obvious one is to make sure you have a backup solution, right? That's that will always be the best solution to have. But of course, stay up front, follow the regulations as they happen. You can many times be able to predict. You can see if a country is starting putting out new regulation that might prevent your service provider giving you your access to the platform, then you can preempt it and actually start moving before it happens. And in most cases, many of these platform providers, they will also try and fight it. So you will always be able to hopefully move a little in advance. The best way is, of course, to just have a backup always ready.
Yes, I saw many, and I spoke with many companies and partners, clients who this fear from revoking the platform license, it stopped them completely from even entering the prop space, which is a pity because it has such a potential, right? And everybody sees it. So it's from my perspective, I think that the planning, the risk management in this space can really make sure that we will not have those issues. But again, everybody's a bit afraid, again, that it's a gray zone. So I think a lot of companies with amazing potential just don't do it yet, or just wait for the regulations to happen.
But to be honest, I think again, with solutions like Muinmos and Brokeree, I don't see how any legislation will come in and say you can no longer deal with this client. It's your tool provider, as long as it's legal, that as long as the product, let's say, prop trading as a product, is legal in the jurisdictions you're licensed in, then the platform provider will be able to service you. That should not be a problem. It's more if you're offering a product in a country where you're not allowed to do it, then of course the platform provider has to do something about it. So I really do feel this is about partnering with the best of the breed. So find the best possible partner out there. Again, that could be Brokeree on the trading side, making sure you get the whole tooling in place to run your risk, to go out your training of clients, to do your assessment whether or not this is a client I want trading on my book or not. And then someone like us at Muinmos to get the KYC ML part. If you have those zones covered, then you're set, right? Then of course there can come a few surprises down the road with regulations as they get rolled out, but it's going to be minors. You will set yourself out for success to begin with.
I agree that's in financial markets, either it's a prop company, it's a broker. It boils down always to the right providers, the right technology providers, and the right partners. It can, I think, save not only a lot of money, but a lot of stress for the future in all of stages, right, of building this business. Lastly, I wanted to ask you a bit about the future. What's your vision for regulatory development in prop, of course, space for the future, in near far future?
So I do hope that the regulation will catch up. I don't foresee that in any way will prevent it or stop it. As I said, I feel this is a sound product that has a real usage. So I really hope that will come a regulation around it that won't prevent prop trading doing what it's doing. I think it will make the product more legitimate. So it will be easier for the brokers to actually embrace, because now they know there's a full regulation framework around it. They know that it's fully covered. There's nothing to fear for the future. And for the client on the other side, the prop trader, they will know that they're entering a market that has actually been looked well after. They know that the market participants are not someone who are just going to run away with the money, but it's actually legitimate companies who has proper tools in place to make sure that the trading can continue until the day they don't want to trade anymore.
Oh, I'm really excited, and I don't think only me, about how everything will plays out. And hopefully it will bring us a more clarity and less chaos in the near future. The companies that will, let's say, embrace the compliance on an early stage, they will be very much ahead when the rules are really set for good.
Yeah, but that's the whole point of it, right? So we will have a good amount of time before the regulation really comes in. Again, this is just me guessing, but if you look at how long it's taken regulation to come in on other products, I would say we still have a good 5 to 10 years before it really comes in. Of course, you also mentioned prop trading is taking off really fast, so we might have to shorten that down a bit. But still, there's good time, so there's nothing that should hold you back from going out there and doing this. Just get the right providers or partners to help you with it, and then you will be ready for any regulation that comes in, or at least if any regulation comes in, your partners will be able to solve them for you.
Exactly. What I love to do at the end, I love to ask our guests a bit of a lighten our questions, because as we all know, in our industry, it's very stressful, a lot of work. Work never ends. Also, this is the case. So, you personally, after work, after a heavy week, heavy day of work, what do you like to do to unwind a bit after this day?
Oh, I'm the wrong one to ask. I like to work some more. So, but that's, I think that's, yeah. I've always been, me personally, I've always been working in different startups or growth companies, being part of building it up. And in that way, you're never really off. But of course, I do have a family at home, and I do stuff for them, take them out for the movies or whatever. This weekend we went out golfing. That was the first time, but it was fun.
I love this answer. Family should bring peace after work for sure. That's an
It's your
amazing
one.
answer. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the conversation today. I have a feeling that we really went in depth, and I hope it will bring some clarity to our listeners. So yeah, thank you again for being here with us. For our listeners, of course, let's see each other in the next episode of Brokeree Add-On interview series. Thank you again for watching and being part of the conversation. If you found this insightful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and consider hitting the bell icon so you never miss an episode. Stay tuned for more industry insights, expert opinions, and actionable ideas right here on Brokeree Add-On interview series.